All right, guys, first and foremost, pause the video. Hit the like button. I'm that guy. I'm that guy right now, okay? Hit the like button and subscribe, all right? Because I'm going to be creating a lot of content, and I want you guys to join me on my journey to the airlines, and I want to get to know you guys. All right, so what are some red flags to look for in your CFI? This is just off the dome, off the noggin, okay? This is just from my experiences. This is from my observations. This is totally subjective. I'm not saying this is entirely fair, accurate. Simply take this as a CFI's opinion, okay? The first red flag that I think I have noticed in CFIs is their schedule. That's unfair because a lot of people have to work full-time jobs even as a CFI, but my point is that if a CFI is not dedicating enough time to their students and their students aren't gaining proficiency, that's a problem because like I said in my previous videos, you have to maintain that proficiency. I say that flying a plane is not like riding a bike. You take 2 weeks off, especially as a new student, you are coming back in 3 steps behind. Okay, so if you have an instructor that's not really willing to work with your schedule, I'm not saying that's their fault. I mean, you guys could just have opposite schedules. I'm just saying that that could be an issue. Okay, so make sure that your CFI has the time and is willing to work with you on the days that you have available, so that way you guys can fly together. Countless times I've seen schedules go opposite, where this student's like, I can only work these days, and the instructor's like, well, I can only work these days. It's clearly not going to work, right? I've also seen instructors who they're kind of like at their hourly mark, they're at their 15 or 1400 hours, 1300 hours, or they just like don't need to be a CFI that much, where they're not giving their students enough attention, so that then the students start to fall behind, right? So that's one of the things I've seen. Red flag number one for instructors. The second one is this superior attitude, like, oh, I'm a CFI and you're just a student, you don't know anything. And yeah, it's true, as a student, you don't know a lot compared to your CFI, but you do have a say in things. And if your CFI is disregarding you, pushing you aside, making you feel dumb or not whatever, okay, you know exactly what type of attitude I'm talking about. That's common. It's common. I don't see it a whole lot, but it's common, okay? Depending on what school you go to. Luckily, I'm in a school where I don't see that at all, and all the instructors are pretty locked in. But I also do know other schools where the instructors definitely treat their students pretty poorly, in my opinion. But that's just life, really. You're gonna have that no matter where you are: engineering school, flight school, medical school, workplace, whatever. That's just unfortunately part of being a human. Okay, but yeah, be careful with that. Third thing that I think is a red flag with CFIs is tone and attitude. Let me tell you first and foremost, being a CFI, it's incredibly easy to get frustrated at your students because the mistakes that they make can often be fatal and or high risk, like you're going to damage a plane or something. And that's scary. And sometimes it's hard not to get frustrated after you get scared as a CFI. That's pretty. I remember like when I was a new student and I would like botch a landing really bad, my instructor would get frustrated or upset or whatever. I mean, that's whatever. Okay, it happens, right? People get frustrated. It's an emotional position. It's emotional career. I'm not saying it's right, but it does happen. Now, when your instructor is like constantly berating you or giving you attitude or tone or talking to you like you're stupid, making you feel bad, if you find yourself not really wanting to work with that instructor anymore, like they make you feel bad, really. It's like you get in the plane with them, you're like, oh, here we go. This guy's already beating on me for this and this. And you're like, dude, I'm still learning. But yet they're getting mad at you. And it's really obvious when that starts to happen. And you got to kind of nip that in the butt, like have a talk with them and be like, hey, dude, the way that you're talking to me, it's like not making me want to fly with you anymore. And that'll often whip them into shape real quick. If not, that's your time to go, right? Like if you talk to them and they're just like, yeah, you're dumb, or okay, or they just kind of, um, blow you off, then yeah, it's like it's not gonna work, dude. Like that's not a healthy relationship. That's called a toxic relationship, and that's not someone who you want to spend time with, more or less give your money to. Okay, so yeah, those are some of the red flags that I see in CFIs: is the attitude, tone, kind of like the I'm better than you attitude. I can't stand that attitude. It's really there's a part of me that is very easy to frustrate, especially when the student keeps making the same mistake over and over again. And especially like when it almost kills us. But there's the other part of me that has to tell myself, okay, calm down. This guy's learning. This girl's learning. This is how you were. Okay, You did the same thing, and you have to stay patient and you have to stay calm because that's the only way that they're going to learn, okay? If you constantly spaz out and freak out and have an attitude, the student's not going to learn. It's going to become a hostile cockpit or a high tension cockpit. Things are going to get a little awkward. That person's not going to fly with you. You're not going to fly with them. So if you can, as a CFI, like if we can avoid that, and I try to avoid that, then it's definitely recommended. But let me give you guys an opportunity to kind of post below what your red flags have been in CFIs, what your experiences have been, and yeah, we'll go from there. We'll start a discussion from it. But I that's the main things that I've seen was attitude, bad scheduling, lack of scheduling even, and a non-dedicated CFI. You do not want one of those because, like I said, you need a dedicated CFI in order to make this work. If you're flying once a week with a student or an instructor who can only fly once a week, it's not going to work, okay? Especially at lower levels. I think that's about it, guys. I'm sure I can come up with more. I'm sure I could. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you for the next video. See ya.